Today I am going to talk about the E-Flite Turbo Timber. It's a kind of a modern classic RC airplane. I know many have this one as their favorites because it's really easy to fly. It's a 1.5 meter wingspan RC airplane. It's a evolution of the original Timber that the E-Flite made, and actually right now they have another version. So the latest one is the Turbo Timber Evolution, but as of now the Evolution is really impossible to get because shortage of components. But this one is actually purchasable, and I managed to get this one for a reduced price also. And it's a really nice RC airplane with this three-bedded prop and exhaust pipes. It doesn't really reassemble any real RC airplane because the timbers are like fantasy made-up planes just to fly good. And I have to say that this Timber it's a really fun, easy flying RC airplane. It's not the most aerobatic, no it's not, but it can do many things, and maybe one of the greatest thing is you can fly in a great scale manner. So let's talk more about this Turbo Timber, but first let's show a flight on floats. It's evening and I have the Turbo Timber to get up in the air, so just step on it and get it airborne. So I'm flying also on a 4S 2200 mAh battery. I'm really pushing the throttle. So the roll rate on this is not too fast, can push through, but it's not the snappiest rolls, really. And the stability with the blue and kind of grey, black and white wings against this guy is not that great, really. I would really like to see some red, like on the new Turbo Timber Evolution.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
It's a good speed, and it's really easy when you do rolls at the right moment as well. And also inverted flying doesn't need much elevator push to have it flying inverted. So I'm staying quite high up because I'm not the best inverted pilot, but I sure to try to keep and push myself every time I fly.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
And I've set a timer for 5 minutes, and when I'm flying this one, I'm pushing it with almost full throttle, like almost all the time. I think 5 minutes is just the right time, so I wouldn't set the timer higher. But of course, if you fly in a docile scale manner, I suppose you could push the flight to maybe 7 minutes. My style of flying is sporty with some mixed aerobatics.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
So most things you try to do when it comes to aerobatics, it will do, but there is a kind of a hesitation. So pretty far from the, if you put the Night Timber X wing on this one, because then it's super agile.
Takeoff flaps.
So when it comes to flaps, I think takeoff flaps is more than enough to have this one slow down, so full flaps are really not needed. And tonight there is almost no wind, so not much interfering with the plane.
Time remaining 1 minute.
So it does really just float
30.
in the air when you have the flaps engaged. It's really a nicely behaved RC airplane, this turbo timber. Time's up, so let's get it down on floats then. Just trying to avoid the seaweed.
Flaps up.
So I mean, this is a really nice RC airplane, this turbo timber, and really fun to fly in the evening when you have a dead calm conditions, and it surely looks great with all these navigation lights and features. It's an understatement to say that this turbo timber flies, nothing less than fantastic, because it is a really nice one. I have to admit, because when I first purchased this one, was not really sure about if I would like it. But the more I fly it, the more I like it, because I mean, some planes just feels nice, and you don't have to be stressed when you fly them, and this is certainly one of those planes. It's also, as many other E-Flite RC airplanes, really easy to assemble, because there are 2 wing halves you put in a spar. You have this plastic bracket and 2 plastic screws, and interesting enough, you can actually replace these wings. So these are the 1.5 millimeter wings which this one comes with. You can actually replace the wings with the Timber X, so Night Timber X wings, so you can have a much more agile RC airplane. The rear stabilizer is held by 2 screws, so it's more or less the same to assemble this one as the Timber X and Night Timber X. And of course you have to attach the spinner and the prop and some linkages. The only thing that takes a bit of time is to assemble the floats, which I have mounted right now. It does come with floats, and it does come with wheels also, so you can fly it on water and on land. So there are a few screws and a few things to assemble, but after that it's really simple. I've discovered that these pins for the floats, they show a few stains after some contact with water, so they are not stainless, which is a poor thing really. I think that they should have been stainless to survive more. And I'm only flying at this lake, which is fresh water, not seawater. Another thing that is a little bit odd, I think, is how you connect these water rudders, because there are these fish lines which you screw into the rear tail assemble, and I couldn't find screws in the package to screw into this one, so I took a few spares, and it's not the most prettiest solution, and there are springs on this side to actually have them kind of tension, and it does work, but it's not the most prettiest solution. I think if you could have probably made a few other choices when it comes to how you would utilize the water rudder. You can also install slats on this one, so these marks on the wing are actually for to mount slats, but I've tried slats on my Timber X and I honestly don't like slats. I think this flies slow enough as is, so the slats are really not needed, and they do get in the way when you try to do aerobatics. So to me, I won't use slats, and they are kind of flimsy also in my opinion, so I won't use them. This is a bottom feeder, so you have to remove this hatch underneath and put in the battery. And so far I've flown this one on 4S 2200. I think this, just as the Night Timber X and the Timber X, they are compatible with both 3S and 4S, but to fly good I think you really need to do 4S. And it does also feature a 50 amp ESC inside, and this is not the BNF version, so I have put in a Spektrum AR637T receiver inside. So the difference from the Turbo Timber Evolution, which does feature the thick 637TA receiver and a smart ESC, is not that big really. But the great thing about this one is how it flies. It's a really fun, relaxing flying RC airplane, and it looks great in the sky. At first I was a little bit disappointed with having these blue and black marks, because I think if you have red on an RC airplane it's more visible. But after a while you get used to it, and if you look underneath the wing, I think if you compare this one, for instance, for the E-Flite Valiant, which have clear marks on the wing with stripes, I think the Valiant is much easier to tell orientation. But as I said, you get used to it, and then you can fly it anyhow you want. So I think this I understand why so many people like this one, and I think the Turbo Timber Evolution is a better RC airplane than this one. In features, I don't think the Evolution actually flies better. But I mean, it's a safe bet to purchase this one or the Evolution.